everyone. Because a lot of you seem to be having trouble getting this assignment done, I thought I would record a video and post this. Now, Rubik's Cube obviously has one different color on every side. And we're going to be doing that using lighting, not with materials. I showed you guys in the virtual forest example, how to change materials for objects. We're not doing that this time. This time we're changing the way something looks based on the way it's lit with different colored lights. So again, our instructions look like this. We're going to have 6 spotlights arranged along the axes. That means on the x-axis, on either side of the x-axis, either side of the y-axis, and either side of the z-axis, directed toward a cube at the origin, right? The origin is the center, 0, 0, 0. So it's going to look like this when it's done. This is using the last version of Blender, but it'll look similar in this version as well. I have received a few of your assignments already, and one thing I noticed is that the lighting is that the direction of the lights isn't always directed at the cube. Make sure that it looks the same. Make sure that you can see. Rotate the view so that you can see all of the lights on all of the sides. A few of you also didn't make the light strong enough to be seen, which obviously you have to do. I'm marking you on all of that. I'm not as concerned about the colors that you use, but I am concerned about every single side being lit by a light. Okay, so let's dive in. First, we have to double the size of our cube by scaling it. So let's do that. We're going to start with, this is our new file. We're going to add screencast keys so you can see what I'm doing on the left-hand side there. There we go. And we don't need that anymore. So we're going to scale the cube, right? Make it twice as big by pressing 2, then hit enter. So now the cube is twice as big. Then we're going to select the lamp. I think a few of you weren't sure what that was. It doesn't say lamp. It actually says light in this version of Blender. So I may have to correct that, but it says light or lamp. In this case, it's light. So we're selecting that. This is the outliner window. Again, you guys have to remember the terms for all these windows. This is the outliner window. This is the properties window down here. And this is the 3D view window, your main screen. So we have to click light in the outliner window, which will make that appear. And then we press X for delete and let it go away. So now it goes into light heaven. Then we want to select, let's see, we've done that. We've made it go away. We want to make sure the cursor is at 0, 0, 0 because that's an important part of this project. And if it's not, press Shift-C to center it. Well, ours is, so I don't have to do anything. But if you accidentally move the origin, which is this little target right here, these crosshairs, if these get shifted over, then you have to move it back by pressing Shift-C. Again, we don't have to do that because we didn't move ours. So it says, next, we have to add a lamp by pressing Shift-A, right? So same thing as we usually do, Shift-A, but instead of a mesh or a text, this time we're going to add a light. And it's going to be a spotlight, the same kind that we use in the circus, right? Same kind that are used to show off the clowns as they leave one by one, leave the Volkswagen Beetle all crammed in, right? So spotlight. Now you'll notice it is pointing down, which is not what we want. The circle is where it's pointing, right? That's what's being illuminated by the light. So we have to raise that up. So we do that by pressing G for grab. We're going to raise it up and down. So that means we press Z to limit our movement just to this direction. And we press 10 to make it go 10 squares up. Then hit enter. Okay. So you'll notice that nothing really has changed. I don't see anything here. There's nothing lit up. And that's because this is on the wrong mode. And this is what I showed you guys in class. Basically, this is the viewport shader. And without going through everything, you have to select the one on the far right, which says rendered. So I move it to the far right, and this will end up letting you see exactly what it looks like in real time. It takes a little bit longer for it to process, but that's what you have to do. Okay, and after we've made that change, we still notice that we don't see anything. And that's because it's too dark. The light's not strong enough. And I'll show you how to fix that in a second. But first I have to move myself over to the other side of the screen here. Okay, so now we can see everything in the properties window. So in the properties window, you will see a light icon that looks like this right here. Click that. And now you'll notice we have parameters we can change. One is the color and one is the power. We're going to change both of those in order to see it. In fact, it makes sense. In the instructions, it says to change the color first. It doesn't really matter the order. I'm going to make this 10,000 watts and hit enter. Now you can see the light, right? The color is white. So we have to change that still, but at least you can see the light. And that was because it was too dim before. Now it's brighter. So 10,000 watts is what we need to put in for the power. And for the color, we click on the color bar here. And I think I said to make it halfway between green and blue, which is this right here. And usually I choose RGB when I'm setting my colors. That stands for red, green, and blue. And that tells the computer how much red, green, and blue are in each pixel. That's basically how that works. So in this case, I don't want any red. I'm going to have one green and one blue. Okay, and that gives me exactly the color cyan, which is equal parts green and blue. You could change this as well if you want to make it darker or lighter, but let's just leave that at full. So that's the color we want the first one to be. Let's see if we can go back to our instructions. So we've done that. We've moved it. We now have it here. I've told you about changing the viewport shader from solid to render. We did that. We changed the light color to make it cyan, and we changed this to make it 10,000 watts. So we've done all that. Now we're on step number 12. We're going to add another lamp at the origin, just like we did before. So let's do that. Shift A for add. Right, we're going to add another light. It's going to be another spotlight, the same kind. Right, you'll notice too that you can change the type of light if you do this. If you change the type here, but let's just keep it at spotlight because those work the best in this particular instance. Now it's pointing down again, which is not what we want. We want this to be pointing at the cube. So we're going to have to change that. We're also going to have to move that down so we can make it away from the cube. So it says move the lamp down by pressing G, then Z, and then -10. So we do that. So press G for grab, Z for up and down, and -10. Don't forget the minus this time because it has to go down and not up. So you need the minus sign in there. So we have it moved properly, but again, we can't see it because it's facing the wrong way. How do we fix that? We rotate that. And we can choose either the X or the Y axis. It doesn't really matter. In the instructions, I can't remember what I said, but if you do 180 degrees, that's a half turn. So if it was pointing down, now it will be pointing up, right? That's how rotations work. So we hit enter to make sure that it's right. Now you'll notice it's gray because again, our light is only 10 watts. We want to make that 10,000 watts. Okay, so now it's white, and we're going to change the color again. This time we're going to make it magenta is the color we're going to do. We've done this step. We've rotated it. That was step 14. Number 15 is the step we're on right now. So we're going to make this magenta. And the way we do that is we click the color bar here, the color rectangle, and we're going to make it, again, equal parts red and blue. So it's actually down here in this quadrant, and we're pretty close. That's 1, and it doesn't have to be exactly 1, but it looks close enough. So this is magenta. So now we have 2 lights, 2 sides done, a cyan top and a magenta bottom. And we have to add 2 more lights. Now, I didn't specify how to do that in the instructions because I want to give you guys practice to do it yourselves. Now, you can add them individually. I will show you a shortcut. You can always, again, you can You can do either way, whatever's easiest for you. You can always add 4 more and move them along the y-axis and the negative y-axis and positive x and negative x. Or you can do a shortcut, which is to select both, and you do that by holding Shift and clicking both of them, clicking both lamps. So now I have both lamps selected at the same time. And if I want to rotate them, well, first I have to duplicate. So I press Shift D for duplicate. And now I have 2 more lamps there. You can't see them, but if I move my mouse around, you will see them. But I don't want to move them. All I want to do is rotate them along the y-axis. I'll show you why in a second. So I'm going to rotate them along the y-axis by 90 degrees. There, rotate them along the y-axis by 90 degrees. Then I will have moved both lights around the cube so that they're now facing the other 2 sides, right, along the x-axis. So I press Enter, and that's what we have. That's what we have right now. And again, I'm going to change the colors. Again, it doesn't matter what colors you choose. I'm not going to take marks off for choosing different colors, but I do want the colors I mentioned. So red would be a good one to use. I'm just going to make this 0. So it's pure red, right? That's this one right here on the other side. So that one's red now. Now I want to change this one to be, let's make it blue. Make sure you have the right one selected. And this can be blue. 0. Just blue and nothing but blue. There we go. So we've got 4 done, and we can do this exact same thing again by holding Shift down and clicking, selecting the other light. Then we press Shift D for duplicate, and we're going to press R for rotate 90 degrees along the Z axis, right? Make sure you click Z and then hit Enter. Now we change the colors of the lights again. We'll make this one yellow. Okay, and we'll make this one a nice green color. I think that would look nice. Again, making sure that our lamp is exactly 10,000 watts so that we can see them. Now, you'll notice that we have a Rubik's Cube where each side is lit with a different color. And that's exactly what yours should look like. Again, it doesn't matter if your colors are slightly different, but the idea should be the same. And I will be checking to make sure that the power is exactly 10,000 watts. So make sure that's correct. Hope this helps. We'll see you guys in class. Good luck.